What's up, YouTube? Herbivores here, and today we're going to take a look at what I got in February, pickup wise. It was a pretty busy month actually. And before I even get into the games, I just want to thank Al from Central Pennsylvania Reviews for creating the thumbnail for me of this video. Just so you guys all, if you don't know, Al from Central Pennsylvania Reviews, Dan B from the Game Beaters, me, and Ice Pirate. We're all pretty close friends, and we talk on a daily basis. And I said to Al, I was like, "Is there any way you can make this thumbnail?" And he made it for me, and it came out great. So let's just get into the pickups that I got so far for the month of February. On SwipSwap, Facebook Marketplace, one of my buddies, actually I became friends with him from buying games, which is funny. It's how I become friends with a lot of people, was selling a Game Boy Pocket, which we have right here. I have a bunch of Game Boys. I didn't have the gold Game Boy Pocket, but that's not why I bought this. It came with the packaging, but it came with a bunch of games here. And surprisingly, out of all the games it came with, I had 0 of them. So that's exactly why I bought it. He sold it for an extremely good price, and I didn't even try to like chip him down at all. I was just like, okay, sure, no problem. It came with Kicks, which is actually probably my favorite game in the lot. Ren and Stimpy, what is it? Ren and Stimpy Adventures. Space Invaders. I love Space Invaders. These games are incredible. That one is the Game Boy Color version. I believe it's the color version. Casper, I only played this for like 30 seconds because I just wanted to make sure all the games worked. WWF Warzone, again, only played that for a couple moments. Pac-Man, Tetris Plus, and a Game Boy Color game called Lego Island 2. I can't read. It's so small I can't read what it says. So anyway, that came in that lot, and I thought that was the pricing was really well. Whoops. And like I said, out of all those games, Kicks is probably my favorite. I've been playing that a lot lately. It's a fun puzzle game. I'm sure you've seen it before. On the subject of Game Boy, again on Facebook Marketplace, there was a guy selling a Game Boy SP. He was selling it for dirt cheap. I think I got this for like 10 bucks. And he was like, I don't have a charger or anything, but it was a blue SP. I was hoping for it was being the 101 model. It's not, but I didn't have this color, so I'm glad to grab it. And it's still charged from, he said he hasn't played it in about 8 years. It's on its last legs of battery. I just got to plug it into my charger. So now when my kids come down and we play Game Boy games, which we do a lot, especially the old Pokemon games, here's another SP we can play on. Okay, back to Facebook. I've been doing a lot of Facebook buying, which is pretty funny. Um, a console that I already owned, but I didn't own this specific one, I found for 20 bucks, which I thought was a steal, is the Sega Dreamcast, but the Sports Edition one. I have like 4 white Dreamcasts. Now I have the black Sports Edition one. I'm very excited to get that. And it came with a green Dreamcast controller and a blue VMU. Sadly, it didn't come with the Sega Sports controller, but I'm sure I could get that later down the road. I'm really not going to be using that one anyway because I use my other Dreamcast and I just replaced the battery in that Dreamcast, and this battery needs to be replaced. But for 20 bucks, that console goes for a lot more than that, and I didn't have that variation. Another console, which I'm not going to take out because I already have it hooked up, um, I got on Facebook again, was the ColecoVision. Now I've had a ColecoVision, but my issue with the ColecoVision is I picked it up years ago at a yard sale and it had none of the wires. It had one controller, but it didn't have the power adapter and it didn't have the RF adapter. So I found this on Facebook and it had no games. So I've had a ColecoVision for probably about 4 years, but every time you go on eBay, like the power adapters are over 40 bucks and I didn't feel like spending that. And I believe this person was selling this specific lot for $30. And it came with Zaxian boxed. My wife's favorite game, Hubert. Hubert. Frogger, and then a couple of loose games, which is, of course, Donkey Kong. This version is actually really good. This is the game I've been playing the most. And a game that I've never played until now, Mr. Do. This game is actually really cool too. So I would say out of the lot, these were the two games that I've been playing the most. And now I have my ColecoVision hooked up to that TV there, and it's hooked up with my Magnavox Odyssey 2, my Intellivision 2, and my Neo Geo CD, and the new system is going on that TV as well. Alright, so, again, I was doing some Facebook buying. No, I think everything else is pretty much eBay. Okay. Nope, let me go into this system. We're going to talk about PSP games. Now, I've been in a real big Crazy Taxi kick lately, and I noticed that this game was on the PSP, Crazy Taxi Fare Wars. Didn't own it, I've never played it, and turns out it's basically Crazy Taxi 1 and 2 on this disc, or UMD. So I picked this up, I got it for like $6 on eBay, and it's a great time. I mean, I played so much Crazy Taxi in my day when the Dreamcast came out. I was in 8th grade all summer long. I know every single song by heart. I know all the extra bonus stages. I love this series. And to have it portable was really awesome. So I was glad to pick that up. And from the guy that I picked up the Game Boy Pocket from, him and I were talking a lot. And he actually has a YouTube channel. And we became kind of friends. And he asked me one day, do you have an extra Sega Genesis power adapter? Because the game store that lives near us was charging an arm and a leg. I said, yeah, I do. I said, I have a bunch of them. He said, can I come get it? I was like, sure. He's like, how much do you want? I was like, I don't want any money. So he ended up giving me Ridge Racer on the PSP. He asked me if I had this, and we made that trade, and it was a great trade. And this game is a lot of fun. I'm glad to have this in the collection. I'm really, really into the PSP as of late, although I only picked up 2 games this month. Let's go to 3DS. I picked up a game that I'm surprised I didn't own, and it was like a launch title, I believe, for the 3DS, the Pilotwings Resort. My wife and I, a couple weeks ago, we had a game party in here with my nephews, and we were playing, what is it, Wii Sports Resort, and I was talking to her about how it reminded me of Pilotwings, and I was like, you know, there's a game on the 3DS that I didn't own that kind of combined the two, so I picked it up, and it was like $7 or something off eBay. The Game Boy Guru, who's a great channel here on YouTube. He does a lot of streaming, and I originally found him from his Game Boy reviews. Him and I, he's the guy that got me, that I wear Shoot the Corecast shirt with. He runs that podcast, but he's the guy that like made me really get back into shooters. I mean, I used to like shooters, but the problem is I'm pretty bad at them. But anyway, we were talking about it, and last month was a lot of his recommendations for shooters. And he said he had an extra copy of Truxton, so I picked this off of him. He gave me an extremely good price, bro price, I will call it, and so I'm very happy to add this to the collection. Did not own that game, and I'm going to tell you, it's very tough. I've been playing it on easy. The cool thing about easy is you could just continue. So I don't know what happens when you put it on normal or hard. I haven't played it that much. I've been playing it mostly on easy, and I've gotten to stage 3 so far. Alright, so let's go to Master System. Now, everybody knows that I'm going after a full Master System collection. I'm going after, like, everything. I'm just crazy in the head. I just want every game. That'd be great. So, I picked up 4 Master System games this month, and the first one is Bomber Raid. And I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't been able to play this as a shooter as much because this requires you to play with, it's one of the Master System games that will not allow you to play with a Genesis controller. Now, I have like 5 Master System controllers, but none of them are really, I mean, they're working, but they're not working 100%. So I was only able to play a little bit of this because like my fire button is just not up to speed. I had to take the controllers apart and clean them, and hopefully that'll get them back to where they should be. Another game that does the same thing with the Genesis controller is Alien Syndrome. This game I was extremely excited to play. It came in the mail, and I was like planning on spending all weekend. That weekend it came in to actually try to beat this game. But again, the same situation is I have to take apart my Master System controllers, clean them, and try to get my fire button to work because it works, but like if I press down, press down, press down, press down, then it will shoot. And you can't play a game like that. It's unreliable. Um, Also picked up Rampage. This version allows you to play as all three. I picked this up, when I want to say the very beginning of February I picked this up. I've been playing a good amount of this game. I can't get that far though, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a tough game. I mean, I played a lot on my when I want to play Rampage, I play it normally on Xbox on the what is it, the Midway. It's Midway Classics game, but I think it's the first or second one. Arcade Treasures. I don't know exactly off the top of my head. And then here's probably the game I played the most of and actually beat for the Master System, Black Belt. This game is extremely cheap, and if you have a Master System, add it to your collection. It's a lot of fun. It can be tough at first until you actually get down the patterns of each boss. You're gonna have a good time with it. So, again, we're going back to the guy who sold me the Game Boy Pocket. He didn't sell me any of these games, but he inspired me. He's going for a full NES collection. I have a lot of NES games, but there's a lot of commons that I don't own. So I was just talking to him, and I was like, man, I got to start collecting back for the NES. And I made a list. Actually, I have a list over there of Master System and NES games that are fairly cheap. They're not going to break the bank. So I just picked up a bunch of commons. First game I picked up was Ikari Warriors. And I'm going to be honest, I never played this game until I picked it up. It's a lot of fun. It's very tough. And it almost seems like Contra in the sense that it's the type of game you want to play with a buddy. I picked up, I believe it's pronounced Zycross. It's kind of like you're like on a speeder bike, like from what's it called? Star Wars Empire, Return of the Jedi, and like you're trying to it's kind of like Road Rash. You're trying to knock people into things. It's pretty tough. I didn't get that far in it yet, but it's a common game that I didn't have. Joust, did not have this in the collection. Extremely happy to play it. Started playing it a lot, and then Mega Dan announced the balloon fight competition. I was like, dude, I've been playing Joust all month. That's cool. So I'm going to try to throw my hat into the run of the balloon fight competition. But with Paul Tessie and, if Nefarious West is joining or Solid Nate, I know I'm not going to win, but hey, it's still a lot of fun to play. Eight Eyes, this is like a Castlevania clone. Gonna be honest, I haven't even beat the first stage yet. It's pretty tough. A lot of people say that it's a great game. You just got to stick with it. And I haven't really been able to dedicate the amount of time that I would like to. Astyanax. This game comes on everybody's list. And for whatever reason, I thought I had it. And I was watching a video. I'm trying to remember whose video it was. Maybe it was an NES Complex's video. And I was like, oh, I want to go play that. I looked on my shelf. Didn't have it. So I got it. This is probably my favorite game that I picked up this month. Air Fortress, really, really cheap. Plays a lot like Blaster Master in a sense that the first half is a shooting stage, and the second half you're playing as like a character walking through a fortress and trying to figure out how to blow up the main reactor and then escape in your spaceship again. And I know that Blaster Master isn't a shooter, but it is a vehicle that you switch into a character. Really great game, under $10. If you don't own this, add this to your collection. Here's a game I did not own that is a not expensive game, but everybody should own it in our NES library, and that's Kid Icarus. For whatever reason, I just didn't own this game, and I'm very excited to add it to collection. It's pretty tough. The reason I wanted to pick this up, I thought I had it, is I've been watching a lot of Captain N, the Game Master, and I was like, oh, I really got to, I've never beat this game, I really got to try to beat it. Looked on the shelf, didn't have it, so I picked it up. And finally, the last game is what the thumbnail is, Anticipation. This game is a lot of fun, surprisingly. I played it by myself a couple times, and then I talked to my wife. I was like, listen, you want to come play? You would have a lot of fun. And we played one round, and she beat me. Yep, she beat me, and I was a little embarrassed because she beat me. But it's kind of like Pictionary, and the computer is going to draw a picture, and you have to guess what it is. So it was a lot of fun. I really recommend it, and it was like $3. I mean, it's a cheap game, and it has the best cover, NES cover in the world. So cheesy. Anyways, guys, it was a pretty busy month in February. March has already kicked off to be a pretty incredible month for me as well. As you guys already seen the Neo Geo CD pickup. Anyways, guys, what did you get in the month of February? Leave it in the comment below, or even share your video in the comment below, and I'll check it out. Thanks, guys, for watching. Herb Wars out.